If you're preparing for your GCSE Maths exam, this video is absolutely vital. We all know maths is about numbers, but words and understanding are so important. Misunderstanding a single term in an exam, question like product or sum can cost you the marks, even if you know the maths. Today, we're going to build your maths vocabulary fortress. We'll go through every key term, define it clearly, and give you a simple example. Keep a notebook handy, pause when you need to, and let's turn these words into guaranteed marks. So, welcome back to Maths Hacks for GCSE Success. This is more than a hack, it's a fundamental asset that everyone needs. Anywho, let's start with the building blocks of maths. Numbers. A prime number is a whole number greater than 1 that only has two factors, 1 and itself. Think 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. And remember, 1 is not a prime number. Next, a factor is a number that divides exactly into another number, with no remainder. For example, the factors of 10 are 1, 2, 5, and 10. A multiple is a number in another number's times table. So, the multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, and so on. Multiples sounds like multiply. Factors cause events, in this case numbers, that may help you remember. Easy, right? How about product? Sum and difference. The product is the result when you multiply. The product of 5 and 3 is 15. The sum is the result when you add. The sum of 5 and 3 is 8. And the difference is what you get when you subtract one number from another. The difference between 15 and 8 is 7. A quotient is simply the result of a division. So, the quotient of 15 divided by 5 is 3. Let's talk about HCF and LCF. The HCF, or highest common factor, is the biggest factor shared by two or more numbers. With 8 and 12, the HCF is 4. The LCM, or lowest common multiple, is the smallest multiple shared by two or more numbers. With 4 and 6, the LCM is 12. An integer is just a whole number. It can be positive, negative, or 0, like -3, 0, or 50. But it can't be a decimal or a fraction like 1.5 or 1/2. The reciprocal is 1 divided by the number, or if it's a fraction, you just flip it upside down. The reciprocal of 4 is 1/4, and the reciprocal of 2/5 is 5/2. Finally, standard form is a way to write very big or very small numbers using powers of 10. Algebra is where the language gets a little trickier, so pay close attention here. An expression is a mathematical statement that doesn't have an equals sign, like 3x plus 5y. But an equation is a statement where two expressions are equal. It does have an equals sign, and your job is usually to solve it. For example, 3x plus 4 equals 16. A formula is a special type of equation that shows the relationship between different quantities, like the area of a rectangle is length times width. And an identity is an equation that is always true, no matter what value you use. It has this special triple equals sign. For example, 2 times x plus 3 is identical to 2x plus 6. A term is a single part of an expression separated by plus or minus signs. In 4x squared plus 7x minus 2, the terms are 4x squared, 7x, and minus 2. The number in front of an algebraic term is called the coefficient. In 5y, the coefficient is 5. Simplified means to collect like terms and to make an expression shorter. For example, for a plus 2ba simplifies to 3a plus 2b. Expand means to multiply out the brackets. So, 2 times x plus 5 expands to 2x plus 10. Factorize is the opposite, putting an expression into brackets. So, 6y plus 18 factorizes into 6y plus 3. Substitute means to replace a letter with its given number. If x equals 3, substituting into 2x plus 1 gives 2 times 3 plus 1, which is 7. A sequence is a list of numbers that follow a pattern, like 2, 4, 6, 8, ... And the nth term is a formula that lets you find any term in that sequence. For the sequence 2, 5, 8, 11, the nth term is 3n1. Next up, the essential vocabulary for dealing with shapes, sizes, and sharing. A ratio compares how much of one thing there is compared to another. A ratio of 1 to 3 means 1 part of the first thing for every 3 parts of the second. Proportion describes the relationship between quantities and is often used to find missing values. For example, if 5 apples cost £1, the cost is in proportion to the number of apples. The unitary method is a great technique for solving proportion problems. You find the value of 1 unit first. 1 apple is 2 op. A percentage is just a fraction out of 100. So 25% is 25 over 100, or 0.25. A multiplier is a decimal you use to easily increase or decrease an amount by a percentage. To increase by 10%, the multiplier is 1.10. To decrease by 20%, it's 0.80. And compound interest is interest that's calculated on the initial amount and also on the interest you've already earned. Let's move to geometry. The perimeter is the distance all the way around the outside of a 2D shape. The area is the amount of surface space inside it. The volume is the amount of space inside a 3D shape. And the surface area is the total area of all the faces of a 3D shape. For circles, the circumference is its perimeter. The diameter goes from one side to the other, through the center. The radius goes from the center to the edge and is half the diameter. A chord is any straight line connecting to points on the circumference, but not through the center, like a guitar chord. A net is the flat, 2D shape that you can fold up to make a 3D solid. A vertex is a corner point. A face is a flat surface and an edge is where 2 faces meet. An isosceles triangle has 2 equal sides and 2 equal angles. An equilateral triangle has 3 equal sides and 3 equal 60-degree angles. Perpendicular lines meet at a 90-degree right angle, and parallel lines are always the same distance apart and never meet. An acute angle is less than 90 degrees. An obtuse angle is between 90 and 180, and a reflex angle is between 180 and 360. Congruent shapes are exactly the same size and shape, while similar shapes are the same shape but different sizes. Finally, a vector is a quantity that describes a movement written as a column. The vector 3 minus 2 means 3 units to the right and 2 units down. Finally, let's look at the terms used to analyze data and predict chance. The mean is the average. Add all the values and divide by how many there are. The median is the middle value once the data is in order. The mode is the value that appears most often, and the range is the difference between the largest and smallest values. Frequency is just the total count of how many times something happens. Bivariate data is data that involves 2 variables, like shoe size and height. Correlation is the relationship between these 2 sets of data. Positive correlation is when one variable goes up, the other goes up. Negative correlation is when one goes up, the other goes down. And no correlation means there's no clear relationship. The line of best fit is a straight line drawn on a scatter graph that best represents the trend. An outlier is a value that is way outside the general pattern. The interquartile range, or IQR, is a measure of spread. It's the difference between the upper and lower quartile. A sample is a small group taken from a larger population that you study to make predictions. And bias is when a sample method is unfair because it favors certain outcomes. Theoretical probability is what should happen. Like a coin landing on heads is 1/2. Experimental probability is what actually happened in an experiment. These are the words that tell you exactly what to do with your maths. Master these, and you won't lose marks for misreading the question. Show, that means you must write down every step of your working to prove the final answer. Just getting the right answer isn't enough. Calculate or find the value of requires a numerical answer. Simplify means collecting like terms or canceling a fraction to its lowest form. Factorize means put it into brackets. Expand means multiply out the brackets. They are the reverse of each other. Estimate is a key one. You must round first and then do the calculation. So, 48 times 103 becomes about 50 times 100, which is 5,000. Give your answer to x decimal places means you cut it off and look at the next digit to decide whether to round up. Give your answer to y significant figures means you find the first non-zero digit. Count to y places, and then use the next digit to round, correct to the nearest. Is another form of rounding, like to the nearest hundred? Describe fully the transformation is a specific instruction. For a rotation, you need the angle, direction, and center of rotation, and product of its prime factors means writing a number as a multiplication of only prime numbers, often using a factor tree. For example, 18 is 2 times 3 squared. You've just covered all the most important vocabulary for the GCSE Foundation exam. Give yourself a pat on the back. Remember, knowing these terms will help you unlock marks you might have previously lost. For an easy-to-print resource, I've made a free PDF revision guide containing this exact list with simple examples. Click the link in the description to get the PDF and to explore our full range of video tutorials and practice papers. Keep revising, keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next video. You've got this.